Hello everybody, today trade cap for January 4th, 2026, and today I took two trades. I'll be breaking down what I saw today and kind of how I took these losses. So let's get into the video. So today was a fairly easy day for most people, but pretty difficult for me. Um, just because I was so long biased on the names, I just could not get an entry while QQ Inspire dropping. But we know that, as usual, I'll always wait for the first 5 minutes of market open, see what QQ Inspire are doing, right? And QQQ Inspire first 5 minutes, we're just chopping around, just kind of just reclaiming and just consolidating around this pre-market low level. So nothing really happening that much on QQQ. And on SPY, pretty much same thing, just nothing really happening. We're just not making clean highs with strong price action. So QQQ and SPY, are a little bit like just opening in our previous day's range. So nothing very bearish, nothing very bullish, just opening our previous day's range. So yeah, and then I was looking at tech names, right? So I wanted to see which names are showing relative strength, relative weakness. So Amazon was not showing anything, right? Nvidia was not showing anything as well, just following QQQ completely. And then Apple was showing relative strength, right? So this name was a name I was watching to play. Just did not get an entry on this name, just simply because I just did not get an entry, right? You have to be very aggressive. There's no pullback in any level I have. There's no pullback into any order block I have, right? So unless technically no, it's already so like you're up $5 on Apple, so like there's just no pullback for me, right? Like some days I'll wait for a pullback, and some days I won't wait for a pullback, and today's are the days you don't want to wait for a pullback, and not just because like there was no pullback, just because the higher time frame was bullish, right? Like yesterday we had the very strong drop on QQ and SPY, right? I trade Apple, I got that nice move, and then we consolidated, right? So Apple's consolidating like this, right? Think about it, look at this. Apple's consolidating like this, right? Um while SPY is dumping, like look at SPY yesterday. SPY is absolutely dumping like $15, and then QQQ dumping like also like $10, right? So more than that, right? So QQQ is dumping like $18, right? So and then Apple's still maintaining like it's chopping, but it's still maintaining. It's not making lower lows and lower highs, right? Still, it's just chopping around. So that shows that buyers are holding up that name. So Apple today did have a nice push in that first 20 minutes. I was looking for an entry the whole day today, but just was not aggressive enough, right? Like I wanted to go a little bit heavier in size, and just was that's the problem by being human, is that you'll always just make mistakes, and just I was not aggressive enough, simple like that, right? But we can see very obvious price action, right? We broke above this previous day high, right? Pre-market high, hourly high up here. We came back, retested VWAP, this fair value gap, and our previous high and our pre-market high. So clear price action, right? Unfortunately, I also don't trade the first 5 minutes. So the nicest trade would have been probably around this reclaim of this hourly high plus a bounce off that fair value gap plus that pre-market high level. You could enter right here, right? TP of those high day, and then stop loss simply below this. Or if you want a little more confirmation, right? You could just enter above this 5 minute range high, right? Stop loss just like below this like half top of that fair value gap, and then just TP like just I didn't mark the TPs out on this name because I never entered. So yeah, that is the first. That's not a trade I took. That's just something I missed out on. And then Meta doing absolutely nothing, right? AMD, um, AMD had a downside move, but not as clean as you'd want it to. Um, yeah, nothing insane on this name. Tesla, I was looking at Tesla calls originally above this pre-market high level because I knew if you get a pre-market high while QQQ and SPY were dropping, this name would be relatively strong. But we just rejected this area like 7 times, so wasn't interested at this point. And then Tesla looked good actually down here once you came below these levels, because then it looked relatively weak. Because QQ and SPY were actually not dropping as much, and Tesla was actually making these lows. So Tesla did look good for puts, right? We had this nice retest of this oral block plus this fair value gap plus this 5 minute range high. So a lot of entries, but you had to kind of size smaller for this kind of like volatility, because we kind of did have like deeper pullbacks. So that is what you have to keep note of. So Tesla, not a bad name to trade. Nvidia, this is the first trade I took today. So after being patient all day and missing on Apple, right? I saw that let me actually bring this up like this. So I saw that QQ and SPY were dropping, right? QQ and SPY were dropping, and so I wanted to kind of play a name that was dropping with it, and that could also show relative weakness. So Nvidia, right, has been weak on the higher time frame. So I want to kind of trade something that's weak on the higher time frame, and this is pretty weak on the higher time frame. And let me preface this by saying that this trade, right, did technically work out on the higher time frame. It's just on options you have to get the move right, and you have to get the timing right. So I got the move right, right, because eventually we did come back down and just smash these TPs. But just timing was not right. So enter simply off these puts of this 5 minute range low break plus this aura block, right? I want to kind of see us break below, consolidate, and then push down lower, right? So just making lower lows and lower highs, right? We came back up, kind of showed bears at this level, but unfortunately we had a strong pop out QQ and SPY, and then just got stopped out, right? So just managed my risk really well. Unfortunately, right, this trade I of course could go down deeper, and the RR would have been nicer, but yeah, so got stopped on that trade. I don't even know how much I lost. Um, I lost pretty much $1,000 on that trade, which is actually I don't even know how much I sized it. Like, so $1,000 on that trade, which is unfortunate, but I knew my risk. I knew I was risking on this trade. I knew my reward. And when you're playing these downside moves, it pretty much either works in your favor or when you get stopped out, it's a pretty instant stop because buyers will reclaim that level aggressively at that low of day area. So got stopped out there, then wasn't looking at Nvidia anymore because it was chopping around. Eventually, we did have that that move that I was looking for, but it just happened way too ugly. It just happened way too there was no really clean entry for me in my system for Nvidia, right? I'm looking at it right now. I don't really see any entries, right? Technically, could like a re-enter of like this 5 minute range low break, right? After this candle kind of like showed bearish price action right here, right? You could technically just like do this and target the same thing. But yeah, no, I was just simply looking for another name after this Nvidia loss. I was looking for another name because like today was a really bad day for me psychologically. And why? Because I was seeing other names showing such clean movement and I was not playing them, right? Like I saw Apple, I literally saw Apple and call it out by the way. Like look, like um Apple and Tesla calls on watch. You can spy in range. Being patient here. Looking at puts now. Looking at Nvidia puts. Nvidia puts nice RR out in Nvidia. Not glad I just might call it a day here. Because you can spy just consolidating at that area. And then Microsoft calls. So I'll talk about now about Microsoft calls. Right. So then after Nvidia lost, right, I kind of waited a little bit, I think like 10 minutes, just seeing what names are showing strength or weakness, or if I should just call it a day. Because so the two names I regret not trading were Apple, just was not aggressive enough, missed out on like a 200% move, and then not Microsoft, Palantir. Palantir was extremely weak today, like insanely weak. Like look at this, just like anyone can make money in this type of market. Like look at this shit. Like absolute insane downside move. No reason to get stopped out on this trade whatsoever. It just went straight down. So probably like missed out on like a good like 150% on this trade. So yeah, just very disappointed. Google had earnings today. Oh shit, I forgot about that. Google had earnings. Okay. So yeah, so very disappointed about that Palantir. But then I was looking at Microsoft, right? So what did Microsoft do for me to get kind of enticed? So I saw QQ and SPY, right? Let me go back to that split. Msft. So I saw that QQQ and SPY were dumping, right? We're obviously in a bearish we're obviously bearish after we're closing below these levels, right? So once we're below these previous say low levels or pre-market low level, not previous low, or below pre-market low level on QQU and SPY, right? I know we're kind of bearish, especially the price action that we're seeing right here. We're just making lower highs and lower lows, right? So I know that we're bearish on QQ and SPY, but at that time while we're bearish, right, Microsoft's trying to make new highs, right? So I know Microsoft has some type of relative strength that can like kind of push this name, like get that high day pop and maybe continuation on that name. So I was kind of hoping for that. So what I see here is I saw we had this previous order block at this level, right? This pre-market high that we clearly reclaimed and kind of tried to show expansion, rejected it, right? Came back down and showed strong buyers reclaiming that VWAP and that pre-market high. So I kind of saw us consolidating above this pre-market high, rejected high day again, right? Came back below and then reclaimed pre-market high. So I saw us reclaim pre-market high with strong price action, right? So now all I want to see is kind of show us some strong price action at this order block. So we had a nice break above this order block, a pullback, and then buyers perfectly like showing that they're at that order block, right? So entered at this candle right here, stop loss simply below this order block, right? Kind of want to see this quickly move because Q can inspire at a low day, and now we're trying to reclaim a high day for the third time. So this is more of like a like a this it looks more better now because we this is our third time trying to break high day, so it like if buyers are bringing this name up high day third time in a row while QQ inspired dumping, so this looks really, really good market structure wise, right? We're looking at QQQ as well. So enter calls right here. Stop loss below order block. Right stop is probably around, I think, a like 10-15% stop loss, and then the win right here would be around like 100-120%, right? So wanted to kind of see us have that momentum, but unfortunately, right, Microsoft, I don't really trade his name that much, right? So this name pretty much didn't do shit, right? We kind of actually it didn't do as much as I wanted to, right? Like I'm pretty spoiled now in my trading where I want like more gains. So I entered right here, right, had a very nice candle closure above this order block, very strong candle, right? And after this candle, I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can see that continuation and a little bit more aggressive price action. But unfortunately, we just chopped around and didn't do shit. So this first pop was around like a 25%. We came back down, had a second pop, 30%, and came back below. Third pop was 35%, right? So took trims on this 30% and this 35% pop, and then got stopped out for my trailers. I don't even remember where I got stopped out. Oh yeah, I got stopped out my trailers. Um, where did I get stopped my trailers? Oh yeah, my stop loss was below this aura block. So this aura block, when we get a candle closure below this aura block, I'll get stopped out. So I stopped out my trailers, I think, at this candle. Let me just check. QQ spy dumping here. 937. Oh, I stopped out right here. So I stopped out right here, and you can see we had this pop, right? So I stopped out under this aura block, right? Because I knew we were gonna fade underneath, right? But we kind of had this pop right after. And I'm gonna explain to you guys this pop real quick. So look what happens right here. Okay, hold up. Where the hell? What the fuck? Why is it not showing like on the chart? Okay, let me just get the time. So this is 9:38. This is 9:38. Wait, what? Did they fix it? 9:38. Okay. There we go. There we go. Like look at this spy pop. I don't know why it's 9:38. 9:38. Wait, you know how that? Yo. My charts are different. I'm not even joking, by the way. Yo, what the hell? No. Hold up. Like, wait a minute. 9:38. Wait. This is not the right day on QQQ. Hold up. Okay, that makes so much more sense. Holy shit. Okay, so yeah, so okay, thank God. Okay, so look at 9:38. We had a weird ass pop for no reason. So like this trade, look, you can spot out now low day. Now this name looks like shit. Now I really want this name to show relative strength, but clearly it's not showing any market structure. Like it's not holding this order block at all. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Cut my trailers, right? This name is clearly not gonna do shit. And so of course this name is still like strong for the day, right? This name was the only green name beside Apple on tech. So this name. Microsoft and Apple were the only green names today, while QQ and Spy are dropping. But I knew that this name would not hold up if QQ Inspire low day and we're breaking this order block, right? But like right when I sell, we have news that we just pop up, and then like thank God we rejected this order block up here, because if we had continuation, like hit my TP, bro, I would have literally been so pissed. Because imagine like getting stopped down, right? When you get stopped at the next minute, news comes out, and then the trade goes your way, you know. So today was for sure a difficult type of day for sure. I'm not gonna lie, especially for me. It just was not aggressive. Was not confident enough in myself to enter. Right, I literally called out Apple and then just watched the entire move just go up the entire time. So really fucking depressing for me. But it is what it is. As traders, that's just you're gonna have to deal with that because we're human. We're not gonna be perfect all the time. Wait, am I recording this? I think I'm recording this. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much a trade cap. 100% winner for this month for now. So that's very good. And keep milking us on social media and shit. But low key, I think I have to take a loss soon, right? Like I was gonna take a loss after this Nvidia trade. I won't lie, because like the markets weren't really doing shit. But then like I kind of was want to be more patient, because after we saw that news, I kind of explain why. I say a little bit after. So out of Nvidia, so look for another trade, right? Might just call it a day here because we're just chopping around, right? What the fuck, guys? Click right, but then I saw Microsoft showing that relative strength, right? Breaking that high day level. What am I doing, bro? We're okay, yeah. And then so and then enter Microsoft calls. Right, I want to see SPY push here will come down 20%. These calls are moving nicely. QQ SPY drop, and these calls are moving nicely because there was volatility on this name. So that's something dumb I said. Low LFG 30%. Want to see momentum out of this 418, which is literally at this high day we rejected 15 times. QQ breaking previously low, which is not good. We're trying to see it break previously high, not previously low. And SPY and QQ are dumping out of Microsoft, right? So nice trade, would have been more continuation if QQ did take a shit. So yeah, that's pretty much trade cap, right? Even take a screenshot of my position. So yeah, that's pretty much trade cap for today, guys. If you guys have any questions, comment down below. And yeah, um, decent day today, right? I'm really disappointed in the names I traded, right? Of course, like the names I traded were good. I was right on all my dates. All of my names I traded, the thesis was correct on all of them, right? Apple higher time frame news bullish. I did not enter, was not aggressive enough. Nvidia higher time frame was bearish. I entered this, the timing was wrong, right? We eventually had that move down. Microsoft, right? The timing was also wrong in this name. This name also has relative strength, right? Look at this. We had to eventually move up, but the timing was wrong again, right? We didn't have that kind of bigger move that I wanted to, but the timing was also wrong. I think the timing was wrong because Q spy started dumping, right? So you can see on these names, my thesis is like so accurate. Like all, if you look at all my trade recaps, bro, like before I even call out the names, all my theses are usually correct. Is the timing is the hardest part to get in the trading options, right? And like people don't realize that, like people, there's skill levels to this options trading, right? And then Palantir, right? I want to trade his name, but I looked at his name and it was already so far down. I'm like, you know what? Like I already missed on such a big move. And I learned a lesson today that, you know what? Something down can keep going more down, right? I keep learning every single day when I trade, right? Like I learned today, right? Like we can keep going down. Trust me, we can keep going down more and more and more. You're never too late to a trade. If the trade looks valid and it's and you have a level and you want to see respect that level and you can short that or long it, then just do it if the name has relative weakness, relative strength, right? So yeah, that's for trade cap, guys. I dropped a lot of sauce, so I don't know. Let's see the 5 people that watch it. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and peace.